everybody. This is Tiffany Fontenot from We Are Here Lit, and we're here today with some special guests. We have James, who is going to be our interviewer, and we also have Olympic 400-meter hurdle runner Kenny Selmon. Take it away, James.
Hi, my name is James. I'm 13 years old. I love to play sports and I love to play video games, and I'm really excited to do this interview with you.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, James.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start off with the first question. How did you get interested in running track?
In running track, you say?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, actually. I played every sport. My dad, my parents, me in everything. Basketball, football. I played a little bit of lacrosse. And the coaches were always like, gosh, Kenny's like, he's a little bit faster than everybody else. Like, you might want to put him on the track and see what he can do. And so my parents, took that in, decided to put me on the track team, and the rest is really history. The results just were a lot better on the track than they were on the other fields.
That's cool. What event in track and field were you the best at?
Yeah, so I guess the event that I'm the best at is the 400 hurdles for sure. It's not I wouldn't say it's my favorite event actually, which may shock some people, but I would prefer to do an event that's a lot shorter and not as hard. But the 400 hurdles just gave me the best results. So I am, and the best event for me is the 400 hurdles.
What was your favorite event?
Okay, so my favorite event is in between the 200 or the 110 hurdles. They're both short enough to where practice is not like grueling every day. And anyone wants to be a sprinter. So like, it's cool to be like that quick. So I would definitely say the 110 hurdles or the 200.
Okay. How did you balance school and sports?
Yeah, that was probably the hardest thing that I had to do, was balancing that, because both require so much of your attention. I'll say that just, learning time management and kind of realizing or like understanding how to prioritize, what needs to get done. Because some days, school, or most days, school came first. You can't do school. I was not allowed to do my sport without having, good school in high school and also in college. And so I always prioritize school, but some days you also need to prioritize your sport, because if you want to be good at your sport, you need to do that as well. So kind of figuring out like which, maybe I do this homework assignment like now, do it early so I can practice later. Or maybe I, don't go to this track meet so I can, try this opportunity in some job. So kind of balancing, like, switching back and forth, but also just kind of figuring out what your priority is at the time, and it'll help in that time management.
Okay. Is there a track star that inspired you, and have you ever read any books on them?
So I will say that my coach, Kim Batten, she was my coach when I was in high school, and she was an Olympic gold. I mean, not gold. She was an Olympian as well, and she also was the previous world record holder for the 400 hurdles. She was a beast, and so she inspired me. She was my coach, which was cool. So I worked with her every day. But she kind of pushed me to my limits and kind of showed me what was possible within the sport. So she inspired me 100%. I will say that there are no books written about her, so I have not read any books about her. But I hope one day that they write a book about her, because I will read it for sure.
Okay. So what was it like in Tokyo, especially in the Olympic Village?
Yeah, no, it was cool. I'll say like it was definitely a COVID year. COVID was very real. The pandemic definitely played a part on the village and the experience itself, which was kind of annoying, but it was part of the game. It was the same for everyone. But the village was cool. It was massive. You could tell that it was built entirely for the Olympics. It wasn't like, some hotels that they threw together and kind of housed us in. They built these rooms and these buildings for the Olympics, which is awesome. And so each country had their own tower. Well, actually, no, some countries shared towers. Us Americans, we had our own tower, which is cool. But it was cool. So it was all centered around this one massive cafeteria. Cafeteria was 2 levels. It had food from burgers to sushi to pizza, anything you need. It was 24 hours, whatever you wanted. it was awesome. I mean, you could literally go in there and do whatever you wanted at any time. And it was great. The food wasn't great. Like the food was okay. It got the job done, but it was more about the quantity versus the quality of the food. So, which makes sense. But it was cool. I mean, I got to meet a bunch of people, a lot of different countries. We all got to mingle. The big thing in the village is kind of trading pins. So like they give you, I wish I had a pin near me. But they give you these like little pins that say like USA track, and you're like the point is to go and find, you know, someone who is, you know, it could be another USA member if they're not on the track team, but the point is to get other countries pins. And so you go and like ask them, like, you know, and most times you can't even speak their language. You're just like pin, and people get it. So you just trade those, and like a lot of that was going on in the village. But it was cool, good energy, very fun. I recommend the Olympic Village to anybody.
Oh, that sounds great. So what was your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, that's interesting. What do so in the Olympics or in track in general? What do you
Just
want?
anything.
Yeah, fair. Gosh, I mean, I've been injured, and so I've been injured. My first year that I went pro, I got injured actually, and so I had to, you know, I pulled my hamstring twice, and I had never ever gotten hurt before. I've never like, I didn't. I mean, I had like knee problems and like minor stuff. I never had a, you know, a sidelining injury, and so I had that happen, and it was just tough. I mean, I woke up some days and I was like, I can't even move my body. I can't even move my legs. Like, how am I supposed to ever get back to, you know, being what I want to be? And so you just take it day by day and do what you can do for that day and continue to push on. But that was one of the more, you know, tough things that I ever had to experience, just because like, you know, I felt so out of control of the situation, but a situation that I needed to control in a big way because I had obligations to meet. So it wasn't great, but how I overcame it, like I said, every day you kind of wake up and it's like, well, what can I do today? You know I can't run today, but can I do some abs? Can I do upper body stuff? Can I learn about my injury? Can I learn like what it takes to get it recovered? What can you do? And as you progress, you know, you'll begin to be able to walk, and then you can jog, and you get on the bike, and then you could, you know, get back to running, and you can hurdle again. So take it day by day, break it down. Don't bite off the big chunk, and kind of break it into pieces, and it'll be a little easier to work through. So that's kind of how I got through it.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions I have.
Cool.
Anything else?
I'm good.
I actually have one last question before we
Yes.
go. And this is actually for both of you, if you could, because both of you are athletes and students. And so what advice would you give to athletes, especially African-American Black males, about being a student athlete? And what would you tell them about, you know, like striving for their goals? What would be your best advice?
James, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Well, I would say it's just about the effort you got to put in. Like every day, you want to put in certain amounts of effort into one thing. You want to put certain amounts of effort into another, but it all has to be an equal amount of effort, so that it's none is going to get one particular thing is getting too much, and you're not getting what you need to get done in another thing.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I'll say effort is a big part of it. I think that's 100% right. And I think that, you know, it's between you and you, you know, effort can't be judged by someone else. Effort is between you and yourself. And so if no one knows how hard you're working but you. And so in the sport, it's really important to make sure that every day you go in, either don't go in or give 100% effort. So I think that's important. A little bit of advice, you know, if you want to stay in it, you want to do well, don't walk away from any day feeling as though you've not given 100% effort. So I think that's great. And as a Black man, I mean, you know, that's a loaded question because there's so much that goes into that from many aspects. I think that there's different angles. Like, you know, for a lot of Black men in America, like sports is the way out. It's the way out to kind of get out of your community and kind of, you know, take care of your family, take care of yourself. And so it's hard to not put everything into that. But I think something I would give advice to is, it's not everything. Like, it is not you. A lot of people get consumed by the sport and think that you are your sport. And I'm like in that moment right now, like I'm kind of transitioning, out of track, like trying to figure out what I want to do in my life. And it's a hard thing to do because all I've known is track. And so, but when you understand and have people around you that know that, you're bigger than your sport, like don't let the sport consume you. You have to give it everything you got. If you want to be good, you got to get everything you got, but also understand that us Black men have many qualities that can go beyond the sport. So that's the advice I would give.
One last thing, because you brought up a really good point with that, Kenny. What is one thing you would want people to know about you beyond you being an athlete? What's the one thing about you that you want people to know?
Yeah, that's tough. I will say that I just think I have a lot more qualities beyond my athleticism. And, I enjoy being able to lead, being able to motivate, being able to structure things, like logistically, put plans together and execute strategies. And I also love business. And so there's so much about me that you can't see on the track, which is the sport. That's fine, but I think it's up to the person, the athlete, the community to kind of illuminate what is beyond the athlete himself.
Thank you so much for your time, James. Thank you so much for your time, Kenny. And I just want to thank you, especially Kenny, because you came to my classroom as a college student, encourage my students. So to do this again, I especially appreciate you taking the time to do this, because it's going to be meaningful to someone who listens to it.
Yeah,
so
well, I appreciate that. No problem at all. I would do it again.
Thank you. You both are great role models, and thank you for doing this. All right.
Yes, of course.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.